I'm nervous about opening up our marriage.
That makes it sound...
Wait, hold on.
Pause. Wow, that phrase only means one thing, and it's not what you just said. I'm so nervous about opening up our marriage to all these comedians we're going to have in our home.
Welcome to the Love and Comedy Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Aurora Singh.
And I'm your other host, Drew Shafer.
Drew and I are two individual stand-up comedians who love the art of stand-up and pursuing their passion. And we also happen to fall in love and be married.
What? How cool is that? In this podcast, we're going to we're going to tackle questions about love, comedy, how they play together, if they play nicely or not, and how it goes with the grind of comedy, because really that's what comedy is. It's just a grind. So we hope that from this podcast we can draw back the curtain a little bit and tell you what it takes to quote unquote make it in comedy, and also make it quote unquote in a relationship.
Because who doesn't love a complicated love story?
Yeah,
right?
Everybody loves that so much.
We have a ton of talented comics who have agreed to be on the show. So I'm so excited to have them on and help us answer some of these questions. And we also got a ton of questions from people on social media.
So many questions.
So many questions. I was not expecting that. And I was expecting a couple people, one or two, but we got a ton. I've
never gotten that many responses to any of my stories. I was like,
ever.
We're not even a real podcast yet.
I know. People were just so curious.
We could have been a prank. And people bought in. They were just like, yeah, what about this? What about this? And we were like, yes. All right. We got so many questions.
So it's going to be good. I'm excited to answer all of them and get through them.
Yeah. And I think let's give them a little introduction to our show. So for this episode, we want to let you know what this podcast is, why it's getting started, how we got started in love, how we got started in comedy, and what to expect when you listen.
We're so cheesy.
We're so cheesy.
I love it.
Me too.
Also, on top of that, just piggyback off that, this bonus episode, this intro episode, if you will, is dropping on a very special day for us.
What day is that?
You forgot?
I think I did. Yeah. What day is it?
Our 3-year wedding anniversary.
Oh, that's I don't know what day that is.
You're
just
so
kidding.
Silly.
I'm kidding. Yeah, I know. What day it is.
February 16th, our 3-year wedding anniversary is today. So we couldn't have thought of a better day to drop our intro episode. Drew and I have been married for 3 years today. We've been together 9 years this year total. Mm-hmm. So, just that alone is a huge accomplishment. 9 years.
Yeah.
But to add stand up on top of it is a whole nother beast. I feel
it's wild. The thing is why we're doing this podcast is because when either of us tells somebody we're a stand-up comedian, it's that's cool. But when we're oh yeah, our partner also does stand-up comedy, it's oh my God, what? Oh, I have so many questions. And then they always ask us the exact same
questions every single time. And what are they? So what are 2 questions you get every single time they find out you're married to a comic?
I think the biggest one is, do you guys perform together at the same time?
Yep, I get that question all the time.
And I get a lot of who's funnier.
Okay.
I get that one way too often.
Okay. Quick answer.
Me. I'm clearly
obviously
funnier.
That is the incorrect answer.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
And what are your 2?
I always get asked, do you guys help each other write material?
Ooh.
And I always get asked, do you guys fight over if someone's doing better than the other? Is it competitive? Like, do you guys get angry at each other?
Those are good
I mean,
questions.
I also get the 2 questions you get, but those would be like deeper questions.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
So your first 2 are those ones. Okay,
yeah,
that makes sense.
The first one is always like, do you guys perform together?
Yeah, every time.
Another question I always get all the time is, oh my gosh, what's it like being married to a comic? I bet you guys are just
so
laughing. Yeah, you guys are just
Your house
laughing.
is always laughing.
Yeah.
So annoying.
It's literally the opposite. It's a lot of tears and a lot of takeout.
Just so much takeout. And I mean, I think we're tired of answering all these questions, right?
Yes, so we decided to make this podcast because we were tired of answering the questions, and we were like, let's just make a podcast and shut up about it.
Yeah.
Everyone stop asking us.
Now when people are like, so blah, 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 and they ask when the questions, we can just be like, oh, listen to episode 6.
Yeah.
Listen to episode 8.
Oh, we actually addressed that with so-and-so on episode 8.
Yeah.
You should check it out.
We're going to be like that teacher. It's like, teacher, what's a right triangle? It's like, look in your book on page blah, blah, blah.
Check your notes.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't take notes?
Oops.
So yeah, how we started, or why we started the podcast. That's why we're starting it, because we're tired of answering all these questions. Well, in all honesty, we're starting it too because we realize these questions are interesting.
They are. They
right?
really are.
Like, like we're a little annoyed by having to repeat ourselves. But in actuality, it's like, yeah, these people, a lot of people don't live our life, and they just want insight to who we are and what we do and how we are handling our relationship, because people know marriage is hard.
Yeah. And I think it's sort of like when people have like that sentence after they say your name, like it's like, Aurora, you know, the one who's married to the other comedian. Like, it's like, that's the sentence that describes us.
Yeah, and that is the sentence that describes us is, oh yeah, Aurora Singh, that super funny comedian who's also married to another comic.
Yeah, all the time. Literally the other day I had somebody who was like, wait, are you the one who's married to Aurora? I was like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I'm that Drew.
You're the guy.
I'm the one.
You're the guy.
Yeah.
They're like, they don't even know your name.
They don't even know. Yeah. They're like, oh yeah, Aurora's husband. Okay.
That's so sad, but also you're also a very great comic. So
Aww. It's official. She said it on camera.
Oh my God. I
on a
can't believe
microphone.
I said it.
Oh my God.
So that's why we're starting the podcast, because we are hoping that it's going to be entertaining for people.
Oh, for sure.
But also we want to say how we started.
Yeah.
This is the fun part, I think.
This is like the origin story.
Yeah, this is the
like
origin story.
Superheroes.
Yeah, because this is like how we started in stand-up.
Yeah.
But how we started in our relationship.
I mean,
and it's kind of the perfect intro because it's like the origin story. Is that what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, origin story. Yeah, you just repeated what I said in more words.
But it's a good idea because I repeated it.
Yeah, exactly. We're like a rom-com. Like when you think about it, because romance and comedy together and...
Yeah, okay, that's what I was trying to say. Love and comedy, right? What a better way to start a podcast about balancing love and comedy, but to talk about the origin of our love and comedy, because they completely overlap.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't exist without each other.
Without each other. Oh my God.
If it wasn't for comedy.
No, that's so smart.
And if it wasn't for our love, I wouldn't get booked on half the shows I get booked on. So.
And that's also funny because it's true.
Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah. How did you fall in love with me? Like,
okay, I'm going to go first.
Yeah, tell me everything from your side.
So the love part of it. Okay, so I did should I just start from, I don't even know where to start. Okay, I'm going to start with.
Start from your childhood.
Start with
as a young
girl.
I
was born on January 14th, 1992. I'm just kidding.
Why are you just releasing it? You're just giving your birthday? Yeah.
Yeah, I want people to buy me presents.
You were trying to say your birth hospital? I think that's
I know. I stopped myself.
That's a security question, I'm pretty sure.
All right. Everybody relax. Everybody. So my love story, starting with Drew.
Yeah.
I was dating a lot of losers, which we will get into this podcast, and I'm super stoked about it. But I was dating a lot of losers, and I was like, I'm going to swear off men for a little bit. I'm just going to like go on Tinder and get free food. That was kind of my vibe. Okay. And then my friend was like, hey, come to this show at a local club in Reno, Nevada, where we lived.
Okay.
And I was like, dope. And so I went to the show, and I saw this super cute guy opening, and she was like, that's my friend that we're here to see. I was like, oh my God, he's so cute. and he performed and he was hilarious. And then after the show, I talked to him and I flirted with him and I was like, oh my gosh, I like kind of want to try stand up. Like, should I try it? And he's like, yeah, if you want to. There's an open mic going on. Oh, this is at lunch the next day, by the way. I did ask him on a date and we did meet up the next day for lunch. Right. And so we meet up. He's like, come to this open mic. It's going to be fun. It's really low pressure. Like, you should try it. And I was like, oh my God, will you be there? Cause like, yes. Cause I was trying to make out with this cute guy. I was like so determined to make out with this guy. And I was like, sure. So I invited 30 of my closest girlfriends. We go to this. I remember I left my class early. I accidentally set off the fire alarm as I was leaving class.
Wow.
Did I never tell you that?
No.
I was leaving class early and I guess they like locked the doors at a certain time. And I guess maybe the instructor or professor, like, I don't know, like someone put off the alarm.
Wow.
So people can leave after class.
Yeah.
But during class, it was on.
I feel like you didn't go to college. I feel like you were in like jail.
I went to the same college you did.
University. I didn't know they had like
yeah. So I don't know. I left the building and I was like, I'm just gonna sneak out because my roommate was like, I'm outside with shots of vodka in the car.
Oh wow. Yeah.
To help me like get lubed up for this open mic.
We are different people.
So then I go in, I get in the car, I'm like running because the alarm is going off and I get in the car, I go to this open mic, the cute boy is there, we're hitting it off, we're having the best time. I'm like, I'm totally gonna make out with this guy. This is in the bag, okay? And then I go up on stage, I do my thing, and then I met you there.
Yeah. I was also at that mic.
Yeah.
I was not the guy she's just been talking about for 4 minutes now.
Yep. So that is how our love started, and then we started to hang out.
Yeah. And did you like me at first? Was there any interest? No?
Not even a little bit.
Were you still like interested in the other guy?
Yes.
Okay. So you're still interested in
You know
him?
what? I don't know if I ever told you this, but there was a moment with this other guy where like we had been hanging out. We hadn't kissed or done anything yet.
Oh, this is getting juicy. You're like, we weren't officially dating, so what I'm about to tell you doesn't count.
Well, wait, because here's the twist, right? I remember after one open mic should I say where it was?
Yeah.
It was at what used to be the Waterfall.
Okay.
In Reno.
Yeah.
And I remember at this open mic, and he walked me to my car, and we like were sitting in my car. And again, this is before you and I were doing anything together.
Okay.
Okay. And we're sitting in my car and we're like talking about something. And then we started talking about something silly and we both started cracking up. And then we were like kind of like leaned in to each other.
It's like a romantic comedy.
Like that moment of like, are we about to fucking make out? Because I thought this was going to be our moment.
Yeah.
Drew, I swear to God, we're leaning in. He's looking at me in my eyes and we're both doing the like looking at each other's lips. And then I go, anyway, so what do you think about Drew? He's such a cool guy, huh?
Wow.
And I ruined the moment because you were in the back of my mind. And I was like, that was like the moment I was like, I think I'm going to fuck Drew.
Wow. This is what you can hear every single episode. It's just the tea.
The tea.
We're spilling the tea.
I know.
Wow.
I'm going to be honest on the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very interesting way. And then we just started dating soon after. We were like sneaking around, like pretending we weren't hanging out and dating. And then we made it official and everybody's like, oh my God, what?
Yeah. Well, the reason why we were sneaking around is because do you know why?
No.
Did you think I was just embarrassed by you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was like, she just wants like, either she wants to keep flirting with people or she doesn't want people to be like, she's with Drew? Like, ugh.
No, it was because I am a woman in comedy and I didn't want people to think, because you worked at the comedy club.
I worked at the comedy club in Reno.
So I didn't want people to think that I was like sleeping my way to the top, which like obviously I was.
Yeah. Like, let her do it, you guys. That's why I got the job.
Don't judge me. Like, let me do my grind, literally.
So silly. So you just, you didn't want that stigma, which, I mean, that's super common. Like, you see it all the time. It's like, oh yeah, they're just sleeping with that person to get ahead. And it's like, or oh, they're sleeping with that person because they're funny or further in their career. It's
exactly. Like
it's
you
so
were
unfair.
in at the club, and I just feel like if people knew that we were like hanging out, then they would just be like, oh, well, obviously. And then also they could have been like in your ear, like she's just using you, and that could have ruined your mindset about
That could
me.
have, yeah.
Because I was using you, but I didn't want you to know it yet.
It's like all the guys you got free.
Yeah,
free
yeah.
meals
It was
from
like more than free meals. I was boning
for
you for
stage
stage
time.
time.
The funniest
And
part
look
is,
at me now. I'm in too deep.
like, you think I had impact on it? It was just you kept bringing friends, so it was like, oh, she
I
has
brought friends.
Yeah.
I brought dates.
You brought dates to the comedy club. This is true. She used to bring just whoever she was like hooking up with from Tinder. And
I wasn't
would-
hooking up with anybody from Tinder. I would get free food and take them to a free show because you would let us in for free.
Yeah. Wow, I'm gonna get in trouble now. I don't care.
Shoot,
I don't
yeah.
care. I let them in for free. But then I would like be so much funnier than the guys you were bringing to the club because that's the only skill I had was just being smart and funny.
What would you say to me when I came down those stairs with a different date than the week before? Do you remember some of the things you said to me?
I just remember being like, oh,
To
this one's
ruin-
new.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like right to their faces. I remember, yeah. Can I say the one about? I have to say it now. As soon as I start.
Yeah,
I?
you can't do
There
that.
there was one guy that you brought down, or not even brought down. It was I saw you guys at a
You were barking.
baseball game.
You were barking at a baseball game.
Yeah, I was
Which
giving out
explain
free-
what barking is.
Yeah, barking is giving out free tickets and little flyers to shows that are coming up. So I was like outside of a AAA baseball game in Reno, handing out free tickets, and I see Aurora and her date walking towards me, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna talk to him.
And he's wearing a big old cowboy hat.
Big old cowboy hat,
Oh
like
God.
just like he went to the rodeo, not a baseball game.
Oh my God.
And I looked at Aurora and her date, and I just said, "Oh, are you guys playing Cowboys and Indians tonight?"
Canceled.
Canceled. I mean, there's nothing bad.
No,
with
there's
that,
nothing bad. No, there
but it's the
isn't.
wrong type of Indian.
But it was a good pun, and it is the wrong kind of Indian.
Yeah.
But so funny, and I laughed so hard in front of my date, and my date
Didn't get it.
Did not get it. He did not smile. He was not amused.
And you
I'm
know,
surprised you didn't get punched in the face because this guy was huge.
He was huge.
Yeah.
yeah, Aurora's type before me was tall.
Tall.
That's it.
What's the requirement to date Aurora?
6 feet tall.
Yeah, 6 feet at least. And how tall are you?
I am 5'9".
That's so generous.
I'm average. A doctor verified it last week.
Yeah, I'm sure. You know what? It's good. I wasn't there to witness it, but I'm sure it happened.
It's real. It's on a medical chart somewhere.
Okay.
HIPAA.
Okay.
I can't share it with you.
I believe you.
Okay.
I believe you.
Good.
Okay. So what's your perspective on our love story?
Yeah, I mean, same thing. For me, it was just
you also saw a cute guy you wanted to make out with.
super cute guy. He's adorable. He's the best. He's listening. Like, yeah, I am. But
Can
nobody
we
else-
just say who it was? Because he's a friend. I mean, he's
great.
like a good. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was Billy Man. You guys should look him up.
he's awesome.
He's actually
so-
like really fun on social media. He has like a ton of followers and he does like cool action tricks and stuff.
yeah,
I
and
think 'cause
great dad jokes.
Yeah.
like, his stand up was dad jokes.
Yeah.
and he found a way to make it his social media presence. I'm like, yeah, he's so cool.
He's a great guy.
Acrobatic, good dancer. Like,
Yeah. We got to
A star.
tag him in this and let him know.
you helped us find each other.
But then he's going to hear the story about how I thought we were going to make out and then I ruined it.
We'll see if we tag him.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway,
what's your sorry, I didn't
Same
mean to
story.
interrupt.
So yeah, I see Aurora at this mic, and I just remember your confidence. You did a joke about your dog while it was pooping, making direct eye contact with you, and you slowly slid the microphone between your legs like it was a poop coming out. And I was like, wow, she's confident. She's funny. I want to get to know her.
Little did he know I was just tipsy.
I mean, the liquid courage. And then, yeah, it just became like, got you in at the comedy club. Then it was like, you would do things that you say you weren't like flirting, but you were so overly flirty. You would be like, oh, you're stressed out? Well, you know, if you get hugged for 20 seconds, that's proven to calm you down. Science. And then you would hug me for 20 seconds. I'm like, this isn't.
I felt very comfortable with you. I did. I did. And it was, I do remember like I messaged you on Facebook asking you about open mics.
Yeah.
And I didn't message any other comics because I just felt the most comfortable with you.
I mean, because, I wasn't, like, one of those dudes. Like, I remember the moment it changed, like, the turning point for us was when you had gotten flowers from a stalker at your office.
Oh, my God.
And you were at an open mic telling all of us guys about it. And all the other guys were like, oh, are you going to sleep with him? Oh, are you going to give him your number?
Just cracking jokes.
Trying to one-up each other's jokes. And then I just looked at you and I was like, are you okay? How do you feel?
I remember that.
And it was...
I remember that. And because my heart stopped, I was like, oh, my God, you see me? I felt seen. You know?
And that was...
And 9 years later, I don't even know if I'm in the same room as you. Oh my God, that's so funny because last night you showed up at the show and I didn't even know you were there for like 15 minutes. You were literally
the last person. Every single person yelled, hey, Drew, from like across the room. And then it was a running joke with people. I was like, she's going to be the last person to realize I'm here. And then you looked at me and it didn't even like click right away.
No.
That was me. You like were like, some weird guy. Wait, that's...
I was like, who's petting that? Who's petting Buttercup? It's your husband, Aurora.
Yeah. And now we're in love. And so that's how our relationship started.
Right.
And we've been doing comedy
ever
the
since then. Yeah, because you started comedy a year before me.
Yeah, I'd been doing it literally like a year.
Yeah.
To that day.
So the night that I started stand-up literally changed both of our lives forever. That is insane.
It's so cool
to think about. Like that night, you saw me. I guess technically we didn't meet that night, right?
Right.
I do remember meeting you briefly, but like not talking to you because I feel like I like walked by your table or something.
Maybe.
And I introduced myself to you, to the table. It was just like a brief thing.
Maybe.
Nothing like, it was like, hi, I'm Aurora. Hi, I'm Drew. Nice to meet you. Bye.
Okay.
So, but anyways, regardless of that, like that night I showed up, I took the stage, I fell in love with the stage.
Yeah.
And then you saw me, I stayed in your mind, and then I saw you again at the comedy club, and then it kind of just went from there.
It really did.
It literally changed the trajectory of our whole life.
For sure.
Fuck, that's so crazy.
It is.
Oh, okay. Well, so the next question is a comedy question.
Mm-hmm.
How and why did you start stand-up comedy?
Yeah. So I didn't realize, the funniest part is it like was one of those like repressed memories for a long time until maybe like 2 or 3 years into comedy. But I remember in 3rd grade, I tried out for the school talent show as a stand-up comedian with my own jokes that I wrote. Like I did knock-knock jokes. I did prop comedy. Like I stuck 2 hats together, one facing forward, one facing back, because I was like, I wear a hat to keep the sun out of my eyes, but the cool kids wear them backwards to look cool. So now I have this, and I put it on my head. I was like, I'm cool, and I'm blocking the sun.
Oh,
like
that is the cutest thing.
Yeah.
I wish there was a video of this.
Oh my God, I wish.
Because that is adorable. That is adorable.
Yeah. So they had 25 slots for the talent show. 26 of us auditioned, and I was the one who got cut.
Oh my God.
That's so sad.
And they didn't see your potential.
There were like six groups that all danced to Bye 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 by NSYNC.
Oh yeah, that was that year.
That was that year,
though. You know what? Just sorry to tangent.
Yeah.
Every time I did the talent show, I was forced to do the piano.
Oh, interesting.
But all of my friends got to do Spice Girls, Mandy Moore, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. Like they got to all do that thing. But my mom was like, "You're doing the piano for talent show." And I never got to do the dances. But I do remember, I'm sure it was the same at all the schools. All the kids did that. But they should have picked you, Drew.
They should have picked me. They should have. And then I just always loved comedy. I like would write jokes. I wrote pickup lines in high school. I was watching Comedy Central nonstop. Bo Burnham was like my favorite.
Wait, you wrote pickup lines?
Oh, I was the Mr. Pickup Lines.
We need to hear a pickup line.
That should be an entire episode.
We need to hear. Can you give us one? Can you think of one right now?
I have a $10,000 pickup line.
Okay. What does that even mean?
I told it to my high school principal in a interview to win a $10,000 scholarship. and I got the scholarship.
What?
Yeah. Because the first question was like, tell us about yourself. And I was like, oh, I'm Drew. I like to make people laugh and smile, and I do pickup lines. And they were like, one of the like older guys who worked for the district was like, tell us one. And so my principal was like a woman in her 70s, super sweet, overly energetic. And I just looked at her. I was like, on my way to school, I saw this flower blooming, and it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And then I saw you, Dr. Segura. And that's all it was.
Oh, my.
And she cackled, and the district guys were like, oh, my God. Like, they were, like, so into it.
You got $10,000?
$10,000, yeah.
Why are we doing this podcast in a closet?
Yeah.
If you're that good at writing for $10,000, why are we in a closet?
I made some money writing greeting cards.
So that is so cool that you did you got the $10,000 and that you're so good at writing. But at what point did you say, okay, I'm going to try stand up again?
Yeah. So when because
the last time was in 3rd grade.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
So yeah, adult Drew living his life. Yeah.
Yeah. So my brother in high school was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and radiation was able to make it shrink and keep it from growing. And then we thought all was good. And then a few years later, it came back, and it was way more aggressive, didn't respond to chemo. So after like 2 months of chemo, the doctor was like, it's not responding. He only has a few months to live. So my brother had like a bunch of stuff he wanted to do before he died. And one of them was have a poker night. So me, my brother, and my best friend, cousin, like basically family, Derek, we all went to a poker night. And we're sitting at the poker night, we're playing, and then Derek goes, oh, I have to leave early. I'm going to an open mic. And I was like, wait, that's like a thing? You can just show up and try comedy? And like I'd already been posting stuff on Facebook, like pickup lines, jokes, whatever. And he's like, yeah, it's at this 3rd Street bar. You should come. And so I messaged the host of it, because it was like that night, and you message a week ahead of time. And I was like, hey, can I come do a set next week? And he's like, yeah, definitely. So my brother and I, a week later, go to the open mic. My brother at that point's very weak, very tired. Like, he's in hospice care. And the very first time I did 3rd Street's competition, I came in 2nd place. And I didn't bring anybody except my brother. And the guy who won brought like 10 friends. So I was like, oh, I think I'm hooked on this. And yeah, I just kept coming back.
So you got started because your brother was sick.
Yeah.
And you thought what?
I thought like, this is something that's fun for both of us. Like, my brother's biggest thing is like when people were having bad days, he would write jokes or write puns, like whatever it was to make them feel better. So to me, it was like continuing that legacy, like keep making people happy. And that's why to me it's like comedy's the one spot I can just make everybody's day better. So I've just been hooked ever since.
Yeah.
How about you? What got you started?
Well, do you want to finish the story about your brother? We want to know what happened.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, he was in hospice care. He got to see that first open mic, and then he was basically bedbound for the rest of his life. So he died 3 weeks after I started comedy. And then the very next week is the first time I won 3rd Street Bar, their competition. And yeah.
I mean, talk about an origin story.
Yeah.
My reason for starting is so different. And
I mean, maybe yours is more fun and funny.
I mean, it is. But I mean, your story of why you started, how you started is so like close to your heart.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that people are going to get to hear that. And,
I hope so.
And like, maybe you'll get more fans. At the end of the day, isn't that what it's all about?
It's all about the fans. No, it's about making people happy. But also, if you have a lot of fans, you get to make a lot of people happy.
Well, I just think it's cool that people are going to get to hear it and kind of get to see that there is laughter after pain. And obviously that was a very painful time in your life, and you decided to come out on the other side and go, you know what, I don't want other people to feel that way. And if they do feel that way, I don't want them to feel alone, and I want them to feel seen.
Definitely.
And I want them to feel heard. And now you're going around the country making people laugh and feel seen and heard. And I think that's incredible that you shared that.
Well, thanks.
And my story is not that deep.
Let's hear it.
I am an attention whore.
Yes.
So my start in stand up is very different. I grew up an only child, and I've always loved entertainment. I've always loved being on stage. I've always loved being the center of attention, and I was bullied a lot. Like a lot, like a lot.
That's like the origin story of every comedian.
And it wasn't even like I was bullied for like, I don't know, bad clothing.
Yeah, like things you're in control of.
Yeah, I was bullied for the color of my skin, for my height, for the fact that I like to play sports more than, do gymnastics. I remember the girls at recess would like do gymnastics on the field. And I was like, I want to go play basketball. I want to play foursquare with the boys.
Yeah,
and
you're a little bit different.
Yeah, so it was things that were out of my control. And so the way I coped through all of it, I could either cry all the time, or I kind of just went, well, these people are weird. Why do they keep making fun of me? I don't know. And so I learned that the more, if I laugh at myself first, it makes it really hard for other people to make fun of me.
For sure.
And so it became like a coping mechanism, especially through high school. And I kind of like mastered it in high school to kind of be nice to everyone as much as I could. I mean, I guess a few people maybe thought I wasn't the nicest. That's a story for another day. But, I tried to like make other people laugh, because if they were laughing, they weren't making fun of me.
True.
They were laughing with me, not at me.
That's the best way to weaponize it against them. Yeah.
Also, I had like a pretty tough home life. Like my mom is absolutely incredible, but my dad's an alcoholic and like wasn't around. So that trauma did eventually turn into comedy. And so I remember staying up late at night. My mom would be like, "Go to sleep, Aurora," and I'd be like, "Dope, yeah, totally gonna do that." And then I would stay up late and watch Comedy Central, and I would watch Joe Coy, the Dave Chappelle Show. I would watch Fluffy. Yeah. Carlos Mencia, and who else did I watch?
Dane Cook was big.
And Dane Cook, I think. And when did Amy Schumer get big? Was that more in college? I feel like it was more in college.
That was later, yeah.
Yeah. So high school was more Joe Coy. I've always been Joe Coy's like my
Your
guy.
Favorite. Yeah.
He's the reason I got started. And we should do an episode on our first comedy shows that we went to.
Ooh,
that would be really good.
That would be really interesting.
Okay, because I just thought of that because Joe Coy was my first one. So we'll do that on another episode. I think that'd be fun.
For sure.
Anyway, so then I got started. I already said the reason why I got on stage for the first time, but truly I wanted to go on stage because I really have always wanted to figure out how to be in entertainment. TV, film, commercials, whatever it is. And when someone was like, "You can go on stage and like talk and people will look at you and laugh and listen," I was like, dope. I'm there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my how and why of like how I got into stand-up and why I got into stand-up. Truly, when I decided to go to that open mic that day, the only reason I went to that night class was because I had to go because there was like a quiz or something. But I skipped all of my afternoon classes and I wrote my set.
Wow.
I just like went in front of the mirror. I wrote my set. And I practiced in front of the mirror, and I was like, "This is gonna kill." I practiced the pooping thing.
Was that stuff you had written somewhere, or did you come up with all that day? And
that day,
I want to talk about this, and this.
Yeah.
Okay.
He invited me to the open mic, and I was like, "I gotta." Well, you know me now. Yeah. I'm kind of a perfectionist. I'm like a laid back perfectionist, but I just like to be prepared.
Okay.
And so I went home and I wrote. I tried to channel Joe Coy and like the storytelling and all that stuff. And I was like, I'm going to go out there and do this. And I wanted to be a little prepared. Cool. So I skipped all my classes and I wrote my set and I went, okay, give me some vodka. And it was at a brewery, which was like fantastic. Yep. So
I literally wrote word for word what I was going to say. And it was like mostly Facebook jokes I'd posted in the last 6 months.
We're so different, word for word. I wrote bullet points and practiced in the mirror. Word.
I'm sure I can find a flash drive that has my first like 5 or 6 comedy sets on it.
I would love to see it.
We
need to listen. We need to find those and bring those up. But yeah, those are I think that's the how and whys and how we started in love and how we started in comedy. Yeah. And like they completely overlap. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And not everyone gets that experience in stand-up. And I mean, I don't know. I think it's going to be cool to hear other comics' perspectives on it.
I know. I'm really excited. I think, like, we have this amazing podcast that we're going to be starting this first episode. I mean, we had some fun and we told
It's
each
just
other
us.
things. We've been together 9 years and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is the first time I'm hearing this. Like, there's a lot. And I think, each episode we're going to be tackling some of these questions. We have so many questions that rolled in and we're really excited to start
And we
answering
have
them.
so many comics lined up. Okay, so before we wrap up the episode,
Yeah.
this intro, which was only supposed to be 10 minutes, oopsie whoopsies.
Whoops.
So what are you most afraid of or like nervous about for this podcast?
I'm most nervous or scared because this is the third time we've tried to have a podcast. So the first one, I think we got 6 episodes and
I think we got 7.
it might have been 7. I think there was the unreleased 7th.
Okay.
So we were way too young. We had fun games. We did like activities, but it was like
What was the name of it?
it was hilarious podcast volumes.
HPV for sure.
HPV because everybody was going to catch it.
Oh my God, we're so funny.
So dumb. And our cover for it, I literally found clip art of books and then I just typed hilarious podcast volumes using MS Paint.
Oh my God.
Didn't even have Photoshop.
It looked like a 3rd grader did it.
Yeah.
And we were so proud of it. And
it was the best I could do. And
but why did it end?
I think we were like recording and trying to edit and release all in the same week. And that's something like Podcast 101 is record well ahead of time, edit ahead of time,
Also,
get ahead.
we were butting heads a lot.
We were butting heads a lot.
Because we had different styles of being prepared. Just
Yeah.
even in the example of doing our first stand-up set, you were like, you wrote out word for word. And I was like, I wrote bullet points and kind of freestyled.
Yeah, we had such different, because I remember for me, I was like, I want segments, I want fun little games, like I want this, this, and this. And you're the type of person who can talk about anything at any time. So like one of the
know.
last episodes was literally, you were like, we're just going to talk about school. And I'm like, okay, but like, do we have a game about school?
And I was
Do we
like,
have...
no, we're just going to talk.
And literally it was like 35 minutes where you were just like, yeah, and in school this happened and this happened. I'm like, all right, I don't want to.
And you didn't know where to interject. Yeah.
Yeah, and we also were doing it in your mom's garage.
Yes, we were doing it in my mom's garage, which was not great for all weathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got hot.
Yeah.
And then the second time, we did one episode that I thought was
my
incredible because it was just fun games.
We did this one episode. The podcast was going to be called The Shafe Space, as
Yes.
in the safe space for us to try new things.
Ironically.
Be open to new ideas. And every week we're going to switch off. Drew was going to try something new. I was going to try something new. And we were going to discuss it and see how it affected our lives. And if it was something being more open to, or it's like a definite, no, I'm not into that.
Yeah. And yeah, the first week was me bringing up Marvel. So we did a bunch of Marvel, like comic stuff.
And it turns out I love Marvel.
Yeah, you love it so
Yeah.
much. And then the second week, Aurora pitched vision boards and
Drew lost his shit.
I don't believe in this manifesting.
That wasn't
I
the
don't
point.
believe in any of that. And I just said that. And it was like, oh, yeah, that's not open-minded.
Yeah, that's not
And
a
we
safe
fought.
space. And we fought and we were like, I don't know. That was a pretty big fight.
That was huge. And we survived. We made it.
We survived. We made it. And 2 years later, we're like, third
time.
time's the charm.
Yep, third time.
We'd never even released that episode. We never.
That's going to be a special someday, like a bonus someday.
I think I still have it on my computer.
I have it.
Yeah. Do you do?
I do.
Oh my God.
We never even edited it because I gave it to you to edit, and then your computer was too slow to even load up the video to edit.
We couldn't edit it. We didn't because it was just too much arguing. I did. Honestly, I think I moved them into a folder because I didn't even want to look at it anymore because it was like traumatizing. And yeah, but anyways, now we're here.
Yeah, so that's what I'm most
We
fearful
never
for.
even like promoted the podcast. We like did the one episode and then we were just like, all right, everyone shut up. Tell me.
Yeah, we didn't. We never told anybody. Versus this time, we.
What did we do?
We have painted ourselves into a corner. Thank God we've recorded this first episode right now
I
because
know.
yeah, people are too excited.
I know, but it's just so funny because now we literally can't back. If we fight, we have to stay in it.
Yeah, it's like having a kid. We're just like,
we're in it now. Yeah,
18 years.
I think for me, I am most nervous about. I'm nervous about. God, I had it earlier. Okay, I'm nervous about opening up our marriage.
That makes it sound.
Wait, hold on.
Pause. Wow, that phrase only means one thing, and it's not what you just said. I'm so nervous about opening up our marriage to all these comedians we're gonna have in our home.
No, wait. I'm most nervous about opening the
pulling back the curtain.
Yeah, pulling back the curtain of our marriage, because I have noticed there's this thing on social media where people post their significant other, and it's the longer I don't remember who said it. Someone has already said it,
yeah.
But it's someone has said it specifically. The longer the caption, the more shit that's going on in that relationship. Yep. The more posts about that person, the more shit that is going on. They're overcompensating, right?
They are.
And I never have really read into that, but then I started to look at your social media and my social media, and it's we don't really post each other. Even on anniversaries, we'll post each other and be like, oh my God, love you. This is whatever. This is great.
Yeah.
But even our captions are short. They're kind of silly. And then we just post each other randomly doing cool things on trips or whatever. But other than that, that's it. But I'm nervous about this podcast coming out, and now we're talking about our relationship and what we've done in the past that worked and what we've done in the past that doesn't. And I'm like, oh my God, what if this ruins us?
Oof.
And just tears us apart, especially because our track record for working together is not great.
It's not.
I'm kind of nervous about that.
I'm just
part.
excited for this podcast to lead us to our demise. And then somebody's podcast discusses our podcast.
Demise?
They do the...
Okay, I'll take it. As long as I get
review.
to be interviewed and a guest on that podcast.
There's a body language expert watching the video.
Babe, what if someone parent traps us on that podcast? Wouldn't that be the cutest thing?
It'd be adorable.
Okay. I love that idea.
I just want to see somebody watching our clips and doing the side-by-side TikTok remix, and this is why it's not healthy.
Because there's TikTok couples who've gotten who've broken up because of the showing what they do. Whatever. I don't know. That's what I'm most nervous about. Okay, what are you most excited for looking forward to the most?
Most excited for really just giving such a unique perspective on our lives and comedy. It's this is hilarious. We're 32 and 31, and these young comics in our scene are just oh my God, you guys are so smart and you know so much about comedy. And I'm so excited to share some of that and help be a teacher again. And I don't know, I'm just, the questions we've gotten are so fun and interesting. And I think I'm excited to just give our unique perspective and show people how you can make comedy work, make love work, how you can pursue your dreams with somebody who's also pursuing their dreams.
That's good.
I think that's going to be the best advice we'll be able to give people, is just how
that's
to support each other.
Good answer.
Yes.
I feel like I'm on Family Feud. Good answer.
Just hit the mic.
That's okay. That's good. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree with all of those things. I think it's going to be really cool to, I also think it's going to be kind of cool to test ourselves a little bit and see what we know.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to interview other comics and other people in comedy and find out about their dating history, because a lot of comedians that we know very well are recently divorced because their careers are taking off. Some people have transitioned from swearing off dating to I'm in comedy and now I'm dating. Some have transitioned into I have a significant other now. We have comedians who are gay, who are lesbian, who are they them. We have a bunch of amazing people coming on, and I'm so excited to just interview everyone from all different backgrounds, get their perspectives, break it down.
Yeah.
And talk comedy, because we love comedy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I could talk comedy all day.
I know. Me too.
The science of
day.
it.
Not all day.
I could. The science of it, tagging each other's jokes up.
Yeah.
It's just like
I'm excited to just talk to comics and sit down, and I think it's going to be so cool for people who are not in stand-up to hear how comics talk about love.
Yeah.
Because it's
there's like
so
stage,
different.
there's stage talking about dating versus real talk about dating.
Because like I've sat down with my girlfriends and my guy friends and I've talked to them about dating, and the conversations I have with them are very different than I have with comedians, because we look at dating and relationships differently, because we look at it as a way that could impact the way I make money. Dating can impact the way a comedian eats that week.
Yeah.
And that is a different way to look at dating.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to kind of show people that and have people see that and be like, oh, wow, they can't just drop what they're doing that night to go on a date, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. There's a lot. I know. Like, there's so much. Like, we just brought up this podcast to comics and like have been talking to them, and they're like immediately they're like, oh my God, yes, I want to come on and I want to talk about this and that and like that. And like, we get in these in-depth conversations, and I have to tell them, just pump the brakes, just pause and save it for the podcast. Yeah. I'm excited to have all of these comedians on and hear their unique perspectives on love and comedy, because sometimes it works and most of the time it doesn't.
It doesn't. Yeah. No, not at all. So thanks for listening to our intro episode. This is episode 0.
Anniversary.
Ooh, of the Love and Comedy podcast. We really hope that this episode got you as excited to listen to this podcast as we are to start producing this.
Yes, and we want to hear from you. So please send us all of your questions that you have about love or comedy or how they affect each other as a whole. You can send us your questions via DM on Instagram. The Love and Comedy Podcast has an official Instagram page.
All one word.
All one word, The Love and Comedy Podcast. Also, you can just find Drew Shafer Comedy or myself, Aurora Singh Comedy, on Instagram, and send us your questions. We'd love to hear from you and answer, and we need your questions.
We need your questions.
We need them, because we can only think of so many from the inside, but we want to hear what you are wondering from the outside.
What would you ask a comedy couple if you got the chance?
This is your chance.
This is your chance.
Great.
We're going to be releasing episodes every Thursday, so set a reminder in your calendar and be ready to download and listen every Thursday to end your week right.
Yeah, and also, follow us on all the socials, like I said, the Love and Comedy Podcast, Drew Shafer Comedy, Aurora Singh Comedy, and make sure you follow, because we're going to have a lot of, announcements,
updates on episodes.
Yeah, and sometimes
bonus episodes.
Yeah, we're going to release bonus episodes. So thank you guys so much for listening. We don't have a tagline yet.
We're going to come up with one. We're going to get a sponsor. We're going to have a good outro line.
Yes.
We're going to get a theme song, probably.
We will. But we were just so excited to get started and like answer these questions. And I think this was a good episode. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. I've been Drew Shafer.
And I'm Aurora Singh. I'm also a Shafer, but I go by Singh for comedy.
Wow, it's so complicated.
I'm Aurora Singh.
There we go.
Okay. Thanks, guys.